This week on Wednesday is our 72 Independence Day. A day before is our Memorial Day for Fallen Soldiers. From sunset to sunset, since Jewish calendar begins at sunset and ends at sunset. So Monday night at 8 p.m., 1 minute siren, where we start the official ceremonies in memory of the fallen soldiers. The next day on Tuesday at 11 a.m., 2 minute siren, life stops. People stop everything they're doing, they get out of their cars, they stop, they honor and respect the fallen soldiers in the different wars of Israel. More than 23,750 soldiers who fell in the Israeli wars, and more than 3,150 civilians who died in terror attacks. Unfortunately, this year, due to coronavirus, people cannot go and do the ceremonies as they used to. It's going to be a very quiet Memorial Day. People will stay home, and people will remember their beloved ones from home and not from the cemeteries. You have to understand that in Israel, Memorial Day is very, very personal. When you go to cemeteries, when you go to those ceremonies, you think of somebody in particular, of somebody personal. You think about your friend from the army, you think about your family member, you think about your relative, and that makes it even harder this year not to be able to do that from cemeteries. Right after the First World War, around 1916, an agreement was done between the French and the British, the Sykes-Picot Agreement, dividing the Middle East between French influence and British influence. Everything in pink is British influence, everything in purple is French influence. In November of 1947, the League of Nations decided to divide this land between Arabs and Jews. The green area supposed to be the Jewish state, the orange area was supposed to be the Arab state. May 14, 1948, the State of Israel was established. May 15, all the Arab countries around Israel attacked and the War of Independence began. The War of Independence ended and Israel had 6,000 casualties. That's 1% of the total population. But Israel won over parts that were supposed to be an Arab state. That led to 1950 till 1960, series of attacks of Jordanians and Egyptians crossing the border and attacking Israeli civilians and soldiers. After the Suez Crisis in 1956, Israel attacked in 1967 during the 6 Days War. Who could ever believe that the war will take only 6 days? But in 6 days, Israel managed to occupy the West Bank, the Golan Heights, the Gaza Strip, everything that's part of the conflicts between Israelis and Palestinians today. After the 6 Days War, Egypt tried unsuccessfully to take back the Sinai Desert from Israel through a series of border attacks. That led to a surprise attack in 1973 in the midst of Yom Kippur, the holiest day for Israel, a surprise attack by Syria and Egypt that nearly caused the destruction of Israel. Israel won the war of Yom Kippur. The price was lots of casualties, but this was actually the last war with the organized army of Arab countries around us. Ever since then, we're busy in two fronts, with the Palestinians at the West Bank and the Gaza Strip, and with Hezbollah at South Lebanon, which led to the Lebanon War in 1982. Lebanon War was with the Palestinian organizations in Lebanon. Occupation of Lebanon from 1982 until 2000 led to the establishment of Hezbollah, which is the terror group that we're fighting with in South Lebanon today. Ever since then, we're busy with a series of military operations and fights every couple of years, either in the north with Hezbollah or in the south with Hamas, and that's where we stand now on our 72 years of independence. Like every year, we're going to move from Memorial Day to the celebrations of independence, from sadness into happiness. There will be fireworks in the streets. This year people will not be in the streets. Normally the streets are full. 72 years of independence, a whole lot of casualties. We're still here to stay. God bless you all. Am Yisrael Chai.